Welcome to the podcast with no intro. If I had to make one, I would have probably procrastinated even more on filming this episode or posting it. So, yeah, maybe next time. This is actually what I want to talk about today, which is trying to remove all the mental blocks that don't allow us to start whatever it is that we want to start. That, for example, for in my case, has been not starting this podcast earlier. I've been wanting to start this project almost 3 years ago, and my mental block has been my insecurity around the fact that my language, my native language, is not English. So I've always thought, how can I do a podcast where the voice is the main focus when I cannot speak not fluently, because obviously I've been living in London for almost 6 years, but I probably cannot express myself in the same way that I could in Italian. But actually that is not even true, because everything that I consume now, podcasts, books, interviews around the topics that I want to, the subjects that I want to discuss about. I actually consume them in English, so it's actually probably a bit easier for me now having these conversations, or just, let's say, monologues in English. But that being said, my tendency to perfectionism makes me think I'm going to make so many grammar or sentence building mistakes, and people that will watch this will probably say, like, "Oh my god, that is unbearable. I cannot hear this." But I don't know. I don't think that's the case. And even if it is, I finally came to the point where I don't even care anymore. I just really need to do this. I am extremely excited and extremely happy of doing this. And I've actually already posted one video before this, which is the trailer of the podcast, which is extremely cringy. I am over expressive. It's just awful. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because somewhere we need to start. But anyway, so to take this back even further, 10 years ago, pretty much, when I was around, yeah, I was 21, 22. I came across on YouTube, these videos of this famous YouTuber, which is Casey Neistat, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with practice of storytelling through filmmaking, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. At that time, I was working with my dad, actually, as a dental technician, which is not what I'm doing today. And I wasn't really happy. At 22 years old, 21, 22, you don't really know what you want to do in life. But you can probably tell that what you're doing is not what you want to end up doing forever. So I was feeling quite stuck. I felt like I was in the same four walls every day, and I just wasn't happy. And watching these videos, it was so inspiring, so attractive to me, and it seemed a very cool way um, of how you could make a living or follow a dream, just traveling around the world, or just not being at least not being every day in the same place. So I decided to go to university. I've studied cinema and media, and every night, literally every night, for probably a good 3 or 4 years, I was just staying awake until 3 a.m. watching so many YouTube videos about filmmaking techniques, gears, or whatever. And on one side, I was extremely excited, because it seemed like there were opportunities, and it was possible to for me to be a filmmaker, or yeah, to, let's say to become a YouTuber or whatever, make films anyway. And but on the other side, it was extremely daunting, because I don't know, I still have to figure out what happened, because actually most people I know are thinking in the same way. Why we have such a huge tendency towards perfectionism? So yeah, watching all these great filmmaker, YouTubers, and very compelling storytellers, it was extremely daunting, as I said, because I felt like, how can I make something good as that? So I'm probably not going to be able. And I've always tried to look at the videos where with the with the reviews, with the best reviews on camera, on lighting, on sound, on whatever. And obviously at that time I didn't have much money to spend on gears, and I just used it as an excuse not to act on it. But in hindsight, this is exactly what it was, probably just an excuse, because at the end of the day you can just like start with whatever you have. And actually now, which is 10 years later, I'm starting doing this and filming with a camera that actually I already had 10 years ago, and with a microphone that is really inexpensive, is around £30. And lighting, you can't see it probably, but I have a little LED light here that is probably not even pointing in my face. And normally it's super cloudy in London, and today this is probably a good sign. The sun just came out like half an hour ago. This is this is all I have. This is my lighting, and this is all I have. And I'm doing it anyway, probably because now my motivation, or I should say my why, has become bigger than everything else, than the gears, and than the perfectionism, than the fears, and the insecurities. So is yeah, it's so crazy that we tend to compare ourselves to people that already made a name for themselves in whatever it is that we are aspiring to do, which in my case could have been, it was Casey Neistat, or I don't know, Martin Scorsese, or any filmmaker. For a painter could be Matisse, for a writer could be Shakespeare. And it's crazy, it's so paradoxical that we don't want to start because we compare ourselves to such big names. But to achieve greatness, you just need to start somewhere. And we are so scared, so afraid of showing ourselves to, I guess, to others, as beginners of a craft, or whatever. And but that's the only way. That's the only way that we can improve. Just starting doing something. And that has been my problem for a long time. I never really start making videos. I just made like a few videos, and I was so not happy and so harsh on myself that I never really published them. I never really posted them. And now it's been 10 years, and I am acting now on what I wanted to do 10 years ago, which it's really sad. To be fair, it's really sad, because imagine where I could have been now, if I acted on it. Probably wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't meant to be. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not trying to dwell too much on the past. I'm really happy and excited that I finally started, and I'm just trying to share this message to people that are in my same position now, or are in the same position that I was. And I realized that there are probably mainly two things, after years that I am desperately trying to looking for answers in podcast interviews and books, as I said before. I realized there are probably, I could say two things that are the main factors why we don't start, we always stuck, which are fear of judgment and comparison. So fear of judgment by who? That's what I've been trying to think about. Judgment by who? I don't know. Judgment probably, if I think about myself and the things that I wanted to do even in these past couple of years, which is not just doing a podcast, could have been so many other things. If I actually think about it, the people that I was scared to be judged by are actually the people that are the closest to me. And when I actually started acting on all the things that I wanted to do, those people started cheering for me instead of judging me, instead of trying to put me down. So that explains that most of the time it's just all in our minds. And that is crazy. It's just like, it makes me feel like, fuck, I should have started so many things just ages ago. But as I said, I don't want to think about too much about the past. So I'm really happy that in the end I've started. So yeah, and to be fair, like, even if someone judges you, who cares? They say that most of the time people that judge you is because they are really not happy with what they're doing. So it tells much more about themselves than yourself and that what you're doing. So yeah, fuck people. I don't know. It seems harsh, but yeah, it's true. And the other thing, as I said before, is comparison. There's a old saying, that quotes, "Comparison is the joy of sorry, the comparison is the thief of joy," and is so true, because we tend to compare ourselves either to people that are doing what we want to do but are already they they already been doing it for such a long time, so it makes sense that they are so much better than we are. Or we are comparing, this is even worse actually, we are comparing ourselves to people that we don't even want to be like. This is crazy. I've realized this. We try, for example, in a city like London, in a big city that is so based on is so career based. We compare ourselves and we think that we want the same things that other people want. So we try to have the same type of career, or we dwell on the fact that we don't have the same things that that person or those people achieved. But we don't even want that life. Most of the time we really don't give a shit about that life. It's just that society makes us think that we need to have the same things, we need to want the same things, but it's so not true. Hence why when we sometimes actually achieve those things, we end up not being happy anyway, because we follow the path which it wasn't our path. So we follow someone else's life, which that is even crazier. So yeah, I know it seems pretty cliche, but it's so true. These two things, fear of judgment and comparison, is what I've been trying to work on the most in the past couple of years. And I got to a point where I really don't care about people judging me. And I'm being able to not comparing myself that much anymore, so to other people. So yeah, so those two things is something that I would definitely advise someone younger than me, or someone that is my age, or even older maybe, that is still trying to find their motivation to start. Work on those two things. Is it's gonna help you a lot. It's gonna It's going to propel you forward instead of pushing you back. And I had to start, or actually, I should say, I had to stop focusing on all the whys I shouldn't be doing this, and I start focusing on all the whys I should be doing this. So, for example, yeah, as I mentioned before, stop focusing on your insecurity, stop focusing on the fear of judgment, stop focusing on comparison, and start focusing on the reason you really want to do those things, which it doesn't have to be like, oh, this is my passion, this is my big why, this is my mission. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be like, in my case, this could be just because I want to improve. I want to improve my communication, my way of communicating, and I know that if I record myself, this is going to help me because I'm going to listen to my way of speaking. So I'm pretty sure that is going to improve a lot my way of communicating, and this is worthy enough of keep doing it, even if people watching it now could think, oh my god, i can't I can't bear listening to him or watching him. Pause it, stop it, turn it off. You don't have to watch it. So see, you just need to do it for yourself. And actually, what I always say is that I am my huge motivation, my big motivation, because at some point you need to find a motivation which is not regarding yourself alone, but it needs to be a little bit bigger than yourself. You need to start doing things for other people as well, and it's so true. And it can sound a bit cheesy, but it's so true. When you actually start doing things for other people, it makes you actually even more motivated. So do these selfless act for a selfish reason. Do it because start doing it because you think like, okay, if I do it for someone else, I'm going to you will realize that you will do it for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's a selfless slash selfish thing to do. And what I was saying is that, yeah, my siblings basically are in their early 20s, and it would really sadden me uh, thinking that they could wait 10 years like I did, acting on their dreams. And I really don't want that to happen. So I'm trying to do this, and sharing my experience, and my failures, really, because I want to I want other people not to waste their life, not to waste their time, because I really really know what does it mean to wake up for 10 years every morning and feeling already late for something, because you know that another day has come, and once again you won't act on the things that you know that could probably make you happy, or at least happier or satisfied. So yeah, it's really important for me sharing this message. And I always talk to my brother and my sisters, saying, just get out there, experiment, do as many things that you think that they truly speak to you. Not Don't follow other people, don't listen to other people. Listen, the greatest wisdom, I'm pretty sure, that is the one that we have within us. I looked for advice from outside for such a long time, and that didn't get me anywhere. So so yeah, I'm not trying to be presumptuous, but all of us, I think, we truly have something within us that um, can put us on the right trajectory. So yeah. And actually, I wanted to finish this sharing a quote. No, it's not a quote. Is extract from a video of Robert Greene, which is a great author. I will probably talk about his books and share about something about him in some videos at some point in the future. But there's this clip that I was listening the other day, and it literally talks about what I'm discussing today. So yeah, I really want people to listen to this and share it. Let me just find it.
I tell people that the proper path in life is in your 20s, when you're most excited about life and you're young and you're creative and you have all this juice and energy. That's when you should be having fun, but also trying different things out and discovering what you're good at and developing skills, and not worrying about the future and not worrying about money. And then the second you hit the age of 30, it can be 29 if you want. All right, time to get serious now. I've learned all these skills. What can I do with them? What can I do that's unusual, that's me, that's creative?
So yeah, a couple of things. First of all, it's very inspiring. It's so true. As I said, it's really important, and it's so true that in your 20s you have all this energy and all these ideas and all this this creativity, and you probably don't have, most people don't have as many responsibilities as someone in their 30s. So it actually makes so much sense to start experimenting and getting out there, as Robert said, and as I said before. And if I think about, as I mentioned before, if I acted on all the things that I wanted to do in my 20s, now I could have been in a much better place. And now at 32, almost 33 years of age, I could have probably already been uh, a a filmmaker, or whatever it is that I wanted to do. Now I'm actually doing something else, which is fine, which is actually even better for me now than being a filmmaker. But at some point, I want to make videos. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that really try and experiment in your 20s, and don't be scared, don't be afraid, don't follow the same paths that other people are following. So just follow your instinct, trying to listen to your inner voice. And if there is a recurrent voice in your head that tells you, I want to do that, just do it, just try it, don't be scared. Fuck the fear of judgment, fuck the comparison, and fuck everything. So, but the other thing that I wanted to do, he says, now when you're 30, in your 30s, or already at 29, now is important that you get serious. Yeah, that is true. But at the same time, I believe that we have time until we don't anymore. Which that means until our last breath, there's always time to change. So now that I am 32, I'm not sure. I don't think Robert Greene meant that, but based on what he says, probably at 32 I should get very serious about putting my skills together, and making something great. And I actually think that I am still experimenting, or maybe like this podcast is actually what he means, which is putting all my skills together, and trying to do something big for myself. But yeah, you don't have to feel like if you're 29 or 30 you can't experiment. I reached a point where I really want to try everything. I know I found my finally I am allowing myself to be creative, and I am not giving up on that, and I am trying the one, two, three things that really make me happy, and that I think could take me somewhere, not meaning to success, as in as is described by stereotypical by society, let's say. But what is success for me, or it should be for everyone, which is finding something that actually makes you feel satisfied, and doesn't make you feel miserable and frustrated. So yes, that's pretty much it. So the first episode is done. See you the next one.